It is now time to welcome our guest speaker for our Entrepreneur Story segment. Our speaker today is a truly versatile entrepreneur, someone who dons different hats with ease. She is an accomplished CA, a partner with MN and Co. Chartered Accountants, a Blue Arc Advisory, and Early Seed Ventures. She's also the regional partner at Venture Catalyst, one of India's top incubators for startups, and a movie theater owner. And that's not all. She's a warm and sensitive person, full of energy and ever willing to help. Let's all put our hands together the digital way by writing clap, clap, clap in the chat box as we welcome Miss Monica Gupta. Over to you, Monica.
Thank you, Craig, for your kind words. And thank you, Anil, Deepa, and Suresh also for inviting me here to this wonderful platform of yours. Good evening to everybody present over here. Age is no barrier for anything that you want to do in your life. And today, I'll be sharing my journey from failing twice in my CA exams to helping startups raise funds in millions of dollars so that they don't fail. I hope you can pull something, out of my sharing, which will forward you in your respective journeys. Thank you once again for having me here. So like any other person, I too have had setbacks in my life. Interestingly, the shift in the mindset and the breakthroughs after each of these three setbacks is what I would like to share today. And I've divided the story of my life in three phases. So being settled, what does that mean to you? As a woman, for generations, it means getting married to the right person, having children, and then spending the rest of her life taking care of a family. But is that really being settled? The first phase of my life was a newly wedded phase. I was 23 when I got married in December 1994. A month earlier, I had given my CA final exam and the results were due. I was not really anxious as I had always been academically a good student and cleared all my earlier exams in the first attempt itself. And in January, the results came. I had flunked by 9 marks. And here I was, never having, failed in a single subject all my life. And now, married just a month back, my in-laws all excited that a CA Bhavu is coming home. And now this. I was more embarrassed about that than failing. I gave a second attempt in May. Again, I flunked. I decided that after marriage, studying is impossible. Rakesh, my husband, to make me feel better, he said, "Theek hai na, it's okay. You don't need to do this. Anyways, you don't need to work. You're already settled. Just enjoy life." I decided to become a homemaker. Life went by, had kids. I would do everything that a typical homemaker would, does. Take care of the kids, manage your home, read books, meet friends, and of course, attend kitty parties. And it was at one of these kitty parties somewhere in Bandra. I was sitting with a bunch of friends, all in their designer clothes, with matching jewelry and a lot of gossip going around. And a thought struck me. Is this how I want to pass the rest of my life? I mean, in my spare time, is this what I want to do? Just reading fictions and attending kitty parties? Or am I capable of doing something more meaningful, of contributing in a different way? And I looked at my friends who were with me interning in my CA, in my CA time, and some of them had become now junior partners with the Big Four. And some of them were, at really good posts with MNCs. And I felt a pang. I took a call and and thought of starting something from home because I had to maintain a balance between the kids and doing something for myself. I thought, let's get into fashion designing. I can call embroidery guys home, tailors, and I started designing clothes. I already had a good clientele in friends and extended family members. And then I would keep exhibitions, they would come, they would buy whatever they liked, and that was keeping me occupied. And slowly I realized that there were other women too who were doing similar things from home. Some dealing in bedspreads, some in purses, some in costume jewelry, and so on. There came the idea to have an exhibition for women entrepreneurs, giving them an opportunity to these homemakers to showcase their products to the outside world, getting validation that this was not just people who are being forced to buy from you when you call them over for an exhibition, but actually unknown people who buy your stuff because they really like it. And the people I spoke to, the women I spoke to, loved the idea. But in some cases, I had to actually go to their homes and convince their husbands that, let them do this. This is a women entrepreneur network, but it helped. We had the exhibition. It was for 10 days and it was a big hit. There was media coverage. The local corporator, who was also a woman, came in to visit. There was tremendous footfall. And there was a lot of business generated by these women. I'm happy to say that some of them have become full-scaled entrepreneurs now. As soon as that exhibition got over, we started getting inquiries to hold the next one. And all of a sudden, I was into event management, holding exhibitions for women entrepreneurs. I held 5 of them in various parts of Mumbai, right from handling sponsorships to stall allotment to management of the event during of those stalls during the event, of the finances. It was a one-man show, but it got bigger and better with each passing event. That was the end of my first phase. Now, what worked over here was the entrepreneurial spirit, which kept me doing things, even if it was something that I had never done before. Taking action when you decide on something is half battle won. The second phase of my life started in 2001 when Rakesh was detected with a brain tumor. I remember thinking, this can't be happening to us. He's just 30. We got his surgery done. There was radiation for the next few months, and then the doctors said that he is out of danger. But soon later, the next year, he developed Parkinson's disease. For those who are not aware, Parkinson's is a degenerative movement disorder where you need medicines to help you in your daily movements. Otherwise, your muscles get really stiff and it's difficult to even walk. Now, this usually happens to people after the age of 50 or 60. But unfortunately, he got the young onset Parkinson's at the age of 32. Now, obviously, he needed a lot of monitoring and support, both physically and emotionally. Around this time, my third daughter was born. And my life at that time was was spent in taking care of Rakesh and the children. In a few years, as the Parkinson's worsened, he stopped going regularly to work. And during the conversations that we would have, he would share with me his fears of his health and the children's future. There was time for a lot of introspection. And in 2006, I attended this seminar called the Landmark Forum. And I realized that the fear of failing had stopped me from doing many things in my life, including my education. This fear was still there, but now I did not want to be stopped anymore. I decided to complete my education. But first, I needed to enroll my family before I could begin. I spoke to my mother-in-law that, Mummy, life looks to me today like a dark tunnel, and completing my education is like a light at the end of that tunnel. I need your support to look after the house, Rakesh, and the kids while I study. Once I qualify, this in turn will help me to look after your son and grandchildren once I complete it. She was enrolled and she said, I will give you my complete support. My parents too gave me the green signal. My mother-in-law and mother, between them, helped to take care of the kids who were just 7, 5, and 1 year old. My father, he sat nights with me, burning the candle, going through my study materials, making notes for me while I studied. Rakesh and the kids, they too adjusted and made a lot of compromises while this process was on. I took my exams group by group in 2007, and that's how I completed my CA after a gap of 13 years in 2008. After that, I did the GMCS. GMCS is a General Management and Communication Studies, which is a small workshop which is organized by the CA Institute and which is mandatory for fresh chartered accountants before we get our diplomas. It was during GMCS that I met my partners who were 13 years younger to me, and they had freshly completed their CA. We found that we gelled together, and we decided to get together and start Eminent Company, which was in our CA firm in 2010. I was 37 years old and my professional life had just begun. This was my second phase. What worked here was getting present to my fears, acknowledging them, and then taking action in spite of them. Also, enrolling my family into my thought process, as they were my biggest strength. The third phase began. At Eminent Company, we had our ups and downs, but we plodded through all of them. We made the best use of our respective strengths. I would handle the difficult clients and the NRIs. Manan took care of complete backend and managed the execution with the staff. Nimit was good in business development, and we leveraged on that. It was complete teamwork. We joined business networking groups, and our firm grew bigger with each year. From a 150 square foot office behind Metro Cinema to today in Parla, we have a 1,000 square feet office with more than 20 interns and chartered accountants working with us. The biggest setback happened in 2014 when the brain tumor came back. And this time it was with a vengeance. In spite of all our efforts, Rakesh succumbed and we lost him in October 2015. Suddenly, he was no more. And that was not all. I lost two more important people of my life, my mother-in-law, who was my biggest supporter, and my brother, who was an anchor in tough times, again to cancer. Now, it was just kids and me. Although the emotional loss can never be diminished, having the financial knowledge and the right network built throughout the years helped me immensely in these trying times. In 2019, I started contemplating with the idea of entering into private equity. I firmly believe that Indian mines have tremendous potential, and with the right kind of support, we can make more unicorns in India than US or China, who are currently leading. The idea excited me. But again, as a human being, I had a lot of thoughts. There are people in this line from more than 10 to 15 years, having fancy degrees from abroad. How can I fit into this place? Will I be good enough? I'm 48 years old. Will I be able to start something from scratch now? It was during lockdown in March 2020 last year that I got time to reflect. I got into a series of knowledge sharing sessions with the partners of one of India's leading incubators and angel investing fund called the Venture Catalyst. And once again, in spite of my fears, I decided to take the plunge. We started a new vertical called Early Seed Ventures, which is into private equity advisory, and we became regional partners with venture catalysts. As their regional partners, we educate people about investing in the new asset class of curated startups in a very structured manner, as well as assisting startups and growth companies to find the right financial and growth partners. I'm happy to say that last year we could help a defense company as well as a pharma company to get the right investment partners to the tune of almost 8 million USD. We have a very decent portfolio in the last 1 year in various spaces such as edutech, agri, toy manufacturing companies, gaming, blockchains, fintech, amongst others. And we are helping them to get funding with a very strategic game plan. The two things that really helped me in this phase: first, just being there and absorbing all the new information without giving up. Now, initially, I would not even understand the jargons being used. Words like bootstrapped, unit economics, ice cream pie valuation. Now, ice cream pie valuation, for instance, is when a startup, when a
Mummy, can you give
startup
me your snack? Then I'll take you. One second. Oh.
So when a startup goes to an investor and he has to decide how much of the pie he wants to disinvest. Anyway, just being there slowly without realizing, I became a part of the ecosystem. And this domain soon became second language to me. The second thing that really worked was not being embarrassed about the fact that I am new in this space and I need to soak up all the knowledge that I can. Being candid with people with whom we wanted to associate. That although, look, we have a successful CA firm, but in this vertical, I'm taking baby steps. The authenticity worked every time. And today, we are fortunate that we have the best of investment bankers who want to collaborate and work with us. I would like to conclude, by saying that you can begin anytime. Age is just a number. Going back to my earlier reflection on being settled, where you settle, how you settle is in your hands. The entrepreneurial mindset is something which will keep you prodding you to do new things. Don't fight it. Just look at the right ammunition to help it grow. Maybe look around you. Your wife, children, parents, grandparents, friends. Can you support them to see the light at the end of their tunnel? Although I would love to turn the clock back and wish that some things had never happened, one important thing is that it is these very adversities and my learnings and experiences from them that have molded me into the Monica who I am today. I'm 50 today in 2021, and it's a beginning to the next new phase of my life. Thank you so much.